National Assembly passes 2021 Appropriation Bill. European Union commends President Buhari's proactiveness in the release of Kankara school boys. And more countries close borders to the UK over spike in new strain. We begin with 2021 budget. Senate has passed the 2021 appropriation bill of 13.5 trillion naira, 505 billion naira higher than the figure submitted by the executive, with the National Social Investment Program responsible for the major increment. The budget of economic recovery and resilience has 4.1 trillion naira allocated to capital expenditure, recurrent 5.6 trillion naira, while statutory transfers is 3.3 trillion naira. The legislature maintained the benchmark of 40 United States dollar per barrel, crude oil production of 1.86 million barrels per day, and an exchange rate of 379 naira to a dollar. Senate also passed 453.2 billion naira 2020 budget of the Niger Delta Development Commission, with a call on the executive to constitute the commission's governing board. Similarly, the House of Representatives has passed the 2021 appropriation bill of 13.5 trillion naira. This amount shows an increase of more than 500 billion naira when compared to the figures earlier presented to the joint session of the National Assembly on the 8th of October 2020 by the President. The Chairman, Committee on Appropriation, Representative Betara Aliyu, explained that the increase came about following a presidential request and a communication from the Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning. And I have with me in the studio an economic development expert, Ogbonna Ukuku, who will be shedding more light on the import of early passage of the 2021 appropriation bill. You're welcome, Ogbonna Ukuku.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Now, the Senate Monday passed the 2021 appropriation bill in fulfillment of the promise to sustain the January-December budget cycle. Can you speak to the importance of this trend in the nation's financial governance?
Yeah, pretty much what happens most of the time is the interaction between the government and then the business community in every economy has to be predictable. So the private sector have always called for this consistency to occur in the Nigerian budgeting system, and then since President Buhari promised that he was going to start doing it, and they've done it, like this is the second time or the third time that he has maintained this particular cycle, bringing in the budget early enough so that the National Assembly can go to work, and they can harmonize and then pass it as a law. So it's a welcome development, and it's something that we should be happy about as a nation.
Now, while commending the administration for timely presentation, consideration and passage of the appropriation bill, would you say due diligence was done by the National Assembly in legislating over the bill?
Oh, of course. I followed some of the budget defense that most of the MDAs and ministries went to defend some of the line items that they put in the budget. Yes, it can never be 100%, but I mean the fact that they came out there to defend whatever they had put in the line items that they had put in the budget. I mean, it's like I said, it can't be 100%, but they did their work. They tried to scrutinize. They tried to ask questions. Why are we buying this? Why do we need this at this point in time? Considering that the economy needs a lot of support and to push the economy back on its feet. So I can say they tried their best to do a good job, but like I said, there's always room for improvement.
You feel that due questions were asked and due answers were given. Now, what would you say about budget performance vis-a-vis the early passage? Is the administration doing justice to implementation?
See, everything that has to do with implementation also, follows a sequence. When you must do your procurement process, which there are laws around it, then project implementation. And then, very importantly, you have to also consider the inflow that you have. That's the revenue. Now, if you don't have enough revenue, or if you have a shortfall on your revenue, you'll now begin to prioritize which project to attend to and which one not to attend to. But, considering what has happened to us, happened to the entire, globally, the pandemic, affected almost every country's revenue. So I think all the government needed to do was just to focus on critical things that will help get people out of poverty, secure lives of people and properties, and then again try to create jobs. These are the major issues that we have. And don't forget, there are key infrastructure that the government have been trying as much as they can to make those infrastructure come into to complete some of those projects, because these are the projects that will propel economic growth. Because if you want your solid mineral sector to start performing well, you must have good railway system, because heavy metals, you can't move them on the road. If you want to start, if you want to support agriculture, major infrastructure for you to move your goods from farm gates to the market, these are things that must be done and must be done quickly so that the economy shall, can
Thank you so much, development expert Obunia Ukuku, for talking to us on NTA International.
Thanks for having me.
Now, the European Union has commended President Muhammadu Buhari for the release and safe return of 334 abducted students of Government Science Secondary School, Kankara, Katsina State. A statement by Special Rapporteur, Lake Chad, West Africa, Joseph Cullen, says the release of the abducted students has brought a deserving relief without bloodshed, and hailed Katsina government and security agencies for the swift response. The European Union urged Nigerian government to ensure adequate protection of vulnerable population and avert a repeat of previous government lapses in security of lives and property, while assuring of international support to quash the reign of terror. More on the security front, the Directorate of Defense Media Operations, DMO, says the Air Task Force of Operation Lafia Dole has dealt yet another blow on insurgents operating in the northeast of the country, with the elimination of Boko Haram terrorists and destruction of their gun trucks at Ajiri in Borno State. Defense Media Coordinator Major General John Enenche says this was achieved on the night of 19th December 2020, sequel to reports that the terrorists in about 7 gun trucks had attempted to breach Ajiri, a settlement in Mafa local government area of the state. Nigerian Air Force helicopter gunships engaged the terrorists, destroying 2 of the gun trucks and neutralizing several terrorists. Meanwhile, with the peace and nation-building processes under review, a policy document that will further chart a roadmap for peaceful coexistence among Nigerians is underway. Kenneth Nanim reports that strategic stakeholders are brainstorming on the matter to come up with a desirable recommendation.
Put in perspective progress and setbacks in Nigeria's journey to nationhood since independence, pointing out various military interventions and civil war, of which challenges the nation is still grappling with. In the review of this process, the forum underscores the need for constant discussions amongst Nigerians with a view to promoting ideologies that keep the nation together as one indivisible entity.
The objective of this national policy roundtable are to create a platform for the assessment of relevant state-building and peace-building structures, efforts, intervention, and resources in Nigeria, to assess the challenges that have encumbered state-building and peace-building structures.
All these are geared towards building a nation and building peace. And when the darkness is thickest, then there's hope for a brighter tomorrow.
In a message, Minister of Foreign Affairs applauded various policies put in place by government towards peace building for national development. Also, the Minister of Women Affairs urged policymakers to mainstream roles of women in peace building processes, as they are mostly vulnerable during conflict situations.
The role of women in peace building cannot be overemphasized, even at the global level. This has resulted to the adoption of the United Nations Security Council Resolution 1325 on women, peace and security.
The forum is optimistic of coming up with implementable recommendations to government. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
A non-governmental organization known as True Nigerian Patriots Initiative has commended President Muhammadu Buhari for demonstrating competence and uncompromising posture in dealing with daunting national challenges. The group says President Buhari has brought about even development across the country and gingered the much-desired economic growth despite dwindling resources. Insecurity, COVID-19, global crisis, and the recent NSAS protest. The organization appealed to the cabinet members of the president to key into his ideology and promote attributes that are people-oriented and can inspire the positive change the All Progressives Congress APC envisioned during its change campaigns.
This is our first media conference for the year to express our genuine position as sincere Nigerians who wants this government to succeed.
To hinge every blame on the president of Nigeria, we are saying is unacceptable. And enough is enough, because President Muhammadu Buhari, even his enemies, they know that he cannot be faulted.
On development of Nigeria, the association called on citizens not to be carried away by unpatriotic opposition groups, rather remain committed to the transformation agenda of the present leadership under President Muhammadu Buhari. Winners of the local government council's election in Gombe State have taken oath of office. Correspondent Emmanuel Akila reports that the All Progressives Congress APC won the chairmanship election in the 11 local government areas of the state.
Nafada local government, Musa Abubakar has been returned as the duly elected chairman.
Professor Saidu Shehu Awak, chairman of the Gombe State Independent Electoral Commission, announcing the results of the December 19th local government council's elections in Gombe State. The APC won all the 11 chairmanship and the 114 councillorship seats. The 11 chairmen-elect lined up as they swear to oath of allegiance administered by Governor Mahmoud Ino Yahaya, with a charge on them to ensure positive change at the grassroots.
I strongly urge the local government chairman to extend genuine hands of reconciliation and partnership to all those who lost out in the electoral process, regardless of party affiliation, and let us all join hands in order to collectively contribute to the development of our dear state.
The chairman appreciated the electorate, the electoral empire, and their supporters, giving assurances of keeping their campaign promises in Gombe. Emmanuel Akila, NTA News.
You're watching the news on NTA International. More stories after the break. Stay with us.
What limits you? Nothing. Who defines you? No one. Where can you go? Everywhere. With unlimited super-fast internet access, free Intel to Intel calls, and crystal clear quality conversations, you can do and be whatever you want to be. Intel. Live more.
Dialogue, empathy, love, and unity. These are vital components of nation building.
For all to be well, we appeal that we should refrain from volatile, provocative, inciting messages and language.
Let's build and not destroy.
We commence this segment with the oil sector. All is set for the presidential inauguration of Npdc Integrated Gas Handling Facility in Olobo, Edo State. Key players say the project ready to be inaugurated by President Muhammadu Buhari will not just boost domestic gas market, but is a game changer that will bring huge economic benefits to the host communities and the country at large. Lydia Sampson has details.
Nigerian Petroleum Development Company, Npdc, a subsidiary of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, is accomplishing its domestic gas supply obligation to the country. A project, expert says, is bringing in more value from gas molecules that could have been flared or wasted. Taking journalists on a guided tour of the facility, Managing Director of the Npdc, Mansour Sambo, says, using its Olobo Integrated Gas Handling Facility, Npdc is taking the lead in Nigeria's plan to end flaring of gas in our oil fields.
It's going to crash not only the prices, but it's going to improve even the availability of the gas to the user. The capacity of this place is approximately 4,500 metric tons capacity that is buried underground there. We have 22 tanks that are underground. Each tank is 200 metric tons.
The integrated gas handling facility will help Npdc meet its domestic supply obligation from the Oredo field and in the process ensure complete gas flare out from there. From the Oredo field, the Npdc will process over 200 million standard cubic feet of gas per day of wasted or flared gas to wealth for the next 25 years. From Olobo in Edo State, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
On the health sector, more countries close borders to Britain as new coronavirus strain breeds panic, just as 2 men have been found guilty of manslaughter of 39 Vietnamese migrants. Joyce Ometu has details of these and more on Global Update.
In recent days, concerns have grown over a highly infectious new coronavirus strain identified in the United Kingdom, heightening global panic and prompting more countries to close their borders to Britain. These travel bans come as the latest figures show the new variant of COVID-19 is rising rapidly, particularly in London and southeast England. This new strain, which experts say is 70% more infectious than the original strain, has sowed fresh panic in a pandemic that has killed 1.7 million people worldwide and infected more than 77 million persons, of which Nigeria records a total of 78,434 of these cases. Meanwhile, the European Medicines Agency has approved the use of COVID-19 vaccine made by Pfizer and BioNTech. The approval puts Europe on course to start inoculations within a week. EU countries including Germany, France, Austria and Italy have said they plan to start vaccinations from 27th December. Away from the pandemic, 2 men have been convicted of the manslaughter of 39 migrants who were found dead in a lorry container in Essex last year. The migrants had paid more than 10,000 euros to be smuggled into the UK and had desperately tried to raise the alarm as they suffocated inside the refrigerated truck. Following a 2-month trial, lorry driver Harrison was found guilty of 39 counts of manslaughter, while organizer Nika was convicted of the same charges. In the meantime, Rwanda and Russia have sent troops and supplies to the Central African Republic to help counter a surge in violence by rebel groups ahead of Sunday's election. Security forces and United Nations peacekeepers have been battling rebels who have occupied towns and roads outside the capital. And that's a Global Update. I am Joyce Ometu.
And in view of the rising cases of COVID-19 in the country, the Imo State Governor, Hope Uzodimma, has directed that all government offices be shut down till further notice. By this directive, civil servants are expected to stay at home from Monday, December 21, 2020. Bright Ebochu reports that this is part of measures being put in place by the government to strengthen safety measures against the dreaded virus.
Following the second wave of the coronavirus pandemic, new cases are now on the increase, which necessitates the strengthening of measures to curb infections. The Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma, in a broadcast, warned against complacency, noting that from 225 confirmed new cases in October, the number has risen to over 77,000 in December across the country, with 32 persons confirmed positive last week in Imo State. Governor Uzodinma says, following this development, he is directing strict enforcement of all COVID-19 protocols. He further stresses the need for civil servants to comply with the stay-at-home directive.
Wearing face mask in public is henceforth absolutely compulsory. Mobile courts have been deployed all over the state to try any person caught without wearing face mask. Equally, all COVID-19 safety protocols will henceforth be strictly enforced. These include the provision of wash hand stands and sanitizers in markets and worship places. Any person or persons caught not observing these safety protocols will be summarily prosecuted in the mobile court.
Governor Uzodinma assures that the directive will be reviewed regularly to determine further measures that may be necessary. In Owerri, Bright Ibuchu, NTA News.
Cancer is a major health problem with minimal treatment and control facilities in sub-Saharan Africa. This is largely blamed by experts for the continuous rise in the number of cases and deaths from the disease. Towards bridging the gap and ensuring access to affordable treatment, Kano State government is establishing a world-class cancer center, which is expected to take off by the middle of 2021. Abdullahi Mustafa visited the site of the project and put together this report.
Apart from being deadly, cancer is a disease that is expensive to control due to the processes and equipment involved in its treatment. Although many secondary and tertiary health facilities across Nigeria provide services, a huge gap still exists. Many patients, therefore, suffer or die from the disease due to high cost of treatment and minimal access to such. Bridging this gap informs Kano State government's decision to establish an international cancer treatment center. The complex, which is to gulp more than 4 billion naira, is also expected to be used for research and training by medical institutions. It is designed to serve not only Kano, but Nigeria and neighboring countries. After the foundation laying by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo in January 2020, the project is now at advanced stage of completion.
Looking at the harmful effect of radiation, if at any point in time it got leaked, it has a very harmful effect on the entire community. So that is why the construction is highly specialized. You need a specialized engineers.
This bunker will not allow any radioactive rays to come out. It will only be used to the patient to treat the patients.
The design is not only to provide effective treatment, but also ensure safety of personnel and nearby residents.
First quarter of 2021 is the target period for the completion of this work. And when delivered and put to use by the middle of the year, the International Cancer Center Kano is expected to bring an end to medical tourism and reduce the cost of treatment of cancer to Nigerians. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has felicitated with the National Librarian, Professor Lanre Olatokunbo Aino, on his 70th birthday. In a statement celebrating the milestone with family and friends, the President congratulated the Chief Executive Officer of the National Library of Nigeria on his contribution to knowledge in an area of education that provides bedrock for research. The President expressed the belief that Professor Aino's wealth of knowledge and experience will continue to inspire many into adopting the noble career, especially as resources for learning become more diversified in a fast-changing world. In our sports, players and officials prepare for fresh NPFL season. Details with more with Bade Adeleye on Sports Update.
Many thanks for joining us on Sports Update. I'm Badi Adeleye. We begin with combat sports as encomiums continue to pour in for Nigeria's Nkwekuta after she beat Bile Sandrin of Cape Verde with an ippon to win bronze medal in the 63 kilograms women at the just concluded 41st African Seniors Judo Championships in Antananarivo, Madagascar. The bronze medal adds 350 International Judo Federation World Ranking points to Ekuta's points tally and further enhances her chances of securing enough points to qualify for the Tokyo Olympics. In football, players and officials of Nigeria Professional Football League say they are in high spirits following league management company's announcement of December 27 as official kickoff date for the 2020-2021 season.
We are very good to go when the league kicks off. We are happy that finally the league is here.
It's an opportunity, even for Africa's largest TV network, NTA, to also create a platform for Nigerian fans.
And finally, Team NTA to the just concluded Federation of Public Service Games in Kano State have been commended for their outstanding performance at the Games. The Director General Yakubu Ibn Mohammed and management of NTA gave the commendation while receiving the team led by the General Manager, NTA Sports, Femi Johnson.
With a view to encouraging others to aspire to win medals next year also. So each gold medal winner will be given a cash prize of 100,000 naira.
Team NTA participated in badminton, tennis and table tennis, winning 3 gold medals. And that'll be all on Sports Update. I am Badi Adeleye.
Thank you, Bade, and that's the news. Always remember to connect with NTA and stand against rape and rapists.